Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jimmy Smith, and you are tuned in to The Big Show. I'm glad you've joined me today for what promises to be an enlightening discussion. You see, today we're going to dive into a topic that's not only close to my heart, but crucial for every man seeking personal growth and fulfillment. We're going to explore today the man's guide to crushing happiness. You see, over the years, I've dedicated myself to understanding and addressing the unique challenges that men face in the world today. My work in men's health, personal development, and relationship dynamics it's given me valuable insights that I'm eager to share with you guys today. And in this episode, we'll be covering a wide range of topics, from building genuine self-confidence to nurturing meaningful relationships, from achieving professional successes to maintaining physical and mental well-being. These are lessons that I've personally learned through the years from my experience, my research, and even working with men from all walks of life. And here to help me is my esteemed colleague and co-host, Dwayne Ward. And if you guys may have noticed the other gentleman here, Esteban Lutz. He's back for another episode of The Big Show. Esteban, how are you doing today, sir?
Rockin', man. I'm honored to be on with the boys today, so this is good.
Boys.
Yeah. And, the last couple shows we've done was kind of related more towards dating advice and, some health and wellness that Esteban and I did a few weeks back. So this time I wanted to switch gears because, I wanted to talk a little bit to the men, but more so to the masculinity, to the development, to the wisdom, to the experience. And I couldn't think of a better person outside of my co-host, of course, to bring onto the show, because Esteban is one of those guys where many of you've been through some really nice ups in life and you've been through some really bad downs in life. And Esteban is a testament to that exact story. So I invited him on. He was excited to come on today and come on back to the show. So we've got three guys here, gentlemen out there listening, that, I would definitely grab a piece of paper and a pen and maybe take some notes, because the three of us is going to share some really good life experience for all of you out there that hopefully will kind of spark an interest in getting back out there and conquering the world. For any of you guys who are a little younger, who are getting out there in life and learning for the first time, take heed. I tell you, a lot of guys out there never grew up with a good masculine role model. And what I would not have given to have three guys like here on the screen teach me back when I was in my teenage years or my 20s. And for those of you guys out there in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, hey, some of these lessons you guys have already learned. Some of you guys have learned these lessons the hard way, and some of you guys have yet to learn these lessons. So I hope it hits home for you. But, Dwayne, question for you. I can't remember. Did you grow up with a father or a male role model that kind of helped you figure out the ins and outs of life?
Yeah, actually, the reason I'm here today, alive, no BS, no whatever, is my dad. My dad, I had a crazy mom. And when I say crazy, the pedigree is long, well documented and everything else. But yeah, my dad is the reason I'm alive. Literally. I mean, my mom tried to kill me when I was about 13 with a knife. So that was they got it. Well, he put me in martial arts, so I was able to actually stop the attack there. But my dad, he was there. Words of wisdom, taught me the straight and narrow, taught me the never sit down when you're shaking a man's hand. All those rules, all the things. I want to say it was DNA that I don't take a pee next to someone at the thing, but it was my dad. Yeah, you always keep at least one between you. It's just you
always have to have a buffer, a urinal buffer when you go into the bathroom.
Exactly.
He taught me unspoken rule.
Yeah, he taught me.
We actually did a very good podcast. I don't know, maybe about a year ago, Esteban, and the podcast was on the unspoken rules of being a man, and that was a really good podcast that we did, and we went through like 20 different things of just like, hey, if you're going to be a guy in this world, you got to know these rules, and
you can't be at a urinal and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's exactly right.
no conversation. It's get in, get business done, and
You
get
look
out.
straight
Wash
ahead.
your hands. Oh yeah.
That's right. So for any of you guys out there who never caught that, go to the Dad Talk Today website, or I believe it's even on my website. I'm loading up all of Dwayne and I's videos on my personal The Big Show by Jimmy Smith website, but it's a great episode. It's called The Unspoken Rules of Being a Man.
We'll have somebody put the link on the chat. That'll be good.
Tell me about your story. Did you have a father in the house growing up, or did you at least have a masculine role model?
My mom was the masculine one. So it's my dad and mom got divorced. I was in 6th grade, but prior to that, my dad wasn't around as much. When I lived in South America, he'd travel back and forth to the U.S. And once they got divorced, I didn't see him as much. And actually, even growing up, there were sporadic visits. So like when I was in martial arts from an extremely young age, my dad also taught jiu-jitsu. So
okay.
We got into it. That was the relationship that he and I had. I was his workout buddy. Now my brother and I both take care of him. He had broken his hip about 8 months ago now. So moved out of his location. He was living in the room behind here. Now he's visiting with my brother. So this is the closest we've ever been. I'm 50 years old. The last few months has been the closest we've ever been. So looking back, that I really have a mentor of how to be with your wife, how to respect women, how to honor women. No, like not at all. I don't have one memory of my mom and dad hugging or kissing each other.
Yep.
And divorced, remarried, I purposely will hug my wife, grab her butt, make out with her in front of my son. I'm like, this is how you love your wife. Whereas before I did what I saw, which was absolutely nothing.
Right.
And it was excellent to become distant and get a divorce. So
yeah, and a lot of you guys listening to the podcast today didn't have a good male role model to teach you either. Some of you had to learn life the hard way. Life had to teach you guys the hard way, the way that Esteban had to learn, the way that Dwayne had to learn. Dwayne was a little bit more, fortunate because he had a father in his household, but a lot of what Dwayne has, learned today has come through trial and error of his own. And some of you guys out there are now fathers, and you're hoping to teach your children life lessons.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was listening to a story, and I was trying to figure out a few things. But when you had mentioned this one, that you spent time in South America.
Yep.
I was wondering where you learned this. It's I couldn't quite make the connection between the two.
That's actually a picture of Esteban with a sweet hat on.
Picture of me playing the guitar right there. You may have seen my infomercials. In the late 80s and 90s, I believe, is when I really got the infomercials up there.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to figure out I guess you got rid of the ponytail and all that, but I was trying to figure out how you pulled in South America.
You kept the curls, just cut the ponytail. And now what Esteban does is whenever you guys are out at Mexican restaurants, he comes up. Did
you want extra queso, some guac? I got you. We got you.
That's right.
Covered.
But in all my years, coaching, whether it be dating or relationships or masculinity, I've seen firsthand the impact that positive male role models can have on a young man's life. Unfortunately, the lack of such figures is a growing concern in our society now. According to recent studies, approximately 1 in 4 children in the U.S. grow up without a father in the home. And that's
25%.
About 24 million kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's, what's more alarming than that is only about 20% of these children actually report having a significant male role model who provides guidance on masculinity and life skills. Yep. So only 2 out of 10 believe that they have had the growing up and teachings that Dwayne was fortunate to have. And this
looking at the grown up boys today, I agree with that. Again, part of my calling right now, the season of where I'm at, it's like, okay, men get to be men, and who are the men that get to be the mentors for that? Because I look around and it's soy boys all over the place.
Nothing but nothing but simps. I know it's crazy. Well, we're seeing a lot of women are not it's just weird because they're the ones raising boys. But like my dad taught me, you never lay your hand on a woman. And my dad had plenty of opportunities with my mother. I mean, he's a strong man for not doing that in light of what he went through. But I see, abuse, these boys hitting women for no reason, for any reason, and all that. And it's funny because they're raised by women a lot of times, and those things just aren't carried over, and they're missing out on all these things. And it's just horrible. The next generation, we've had 30, 40 plus years of all these men growing up without a father, and then we're setting them out into the world, and then we're shocked when these things happen.
Yeah,
just horrible stuff.
It's crazy. I mean,
Jeremy be in the house.
Yeah, Jeremy got Logan back on. We got Todd Ashley back on. Good to see you, Todd. Mike Keller, our good friend from Switzerland's on. Yeah, we got a lot of good people. So, thinking about these numbers, the 2 out of 10 who feel that they have only had a good masculine role model, this leaves a staggering number of young men without the proper mentorship during, some very crucial developmental years of their lives.
Yeah.
In my coaching, I've worked with countless men who are trying to fill these gaps, but later in life, they're trying to seek to understand what it truly means for a man in today's world, back to Esteban's point. So today, what we're going to be discussing is some of the key insights that Dwayne and Esteban and myself had gathered from working with men, insights that can help any man, well, any woman also. Any woman can take these as well, but this is really specifically for the men today, because as a man, if you're able to develop these traits, it's really going to help, give you that thrust in life that a lot of guys are looking for.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that men, we get to be masculine, and we get to be the head of the household, and not in a chivalrous kind of way.
Servant leaders. That's what I mean. We're the ones that we're the ones that, the buck stops with us. Unlike our Secret Service leader. But anyway, as far as what you're saying, is for the men and the women. I think the women need to listen in, because a lot of times, they'll listen in and they'll say, "Well, I do that." Well, no, you don't. You don't do those things. You can say the words, but it just doesn't. It doesn't have the same impact on those kids that having a man do it. And it just doesn't. And I don't know, it's like trying to explain colors to a dog sometimes. And again, send all your hate mail to pissoffparent.com. I accept it all. Actually, my youngest got me this T-shirt for Father's Day. I've been waiting to show it off here. And for Mike Keller, I do have my camera switched around, but you have the man and the legend.
Nice. Well,
Esteban's like, God, I should never have come on here. This is so wrong.
Good.
We've actually got a question for both Dwayne and Esteban, because it's the question from Todd is clearly not for me, because Todd's thrashing me right now. But here's his question. He wants to know what the best hair product for us guys with such a flowing head of hair is.
I just do pretty much Head and Shoulders. That's pretty much all I do. And that gives me this right here. It's just all just buttery smooth. Just good stuff.
I need to I actually downloaded that app, but I couldn't get it to play on 2 different cameras. But I'm gonna find the app where I've got like long hair.
Got some hippie, head banging hair. How about you, Esteban? What kind of hair product you have? I'm a Head and Shoulders guy. I get in there. And
I'm going to sit this one out.
You're more of a shoulders guy, Jimmy. Just there's no.
Listen, when you don't have much, what you basically do is you just use your 2-in-1 body wash, and you're just kind of doing this, and you're just kind of rock it up here,
But I got a question. Like, when do you stop? Like, when you're washing your face, where do you stop exactly?
You just go all the way down. You pass the junk. You just keep going all the way down to the bottom.
Keep going all the way down.
6-in-1, not the 2-in-1. He uses it for everything. It's a little deodorant, shampoo, conditioner.
Correct.
Little toothpaste. It's all good.
Toothpaste as well. That's right. I don't use a toothbrush. I just use my loofah.
Oh God.
And then I wash my nuts with it, and
if it works, yeah, his
whatever works,
his Manscaped.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I'm done. 5 minutes. Everything's done. Hair, teeth, everything's done in 5 minutes. It's called efficiency, people. It's called efficiency.
Exactly.
But hey, so today what we're gonna do, Esteban already regretting. Yes, yeah.
Yep. He's gonna lose his number after this.
we lied to Esteban and told him it was just going to be really like an easy podcast today, and then when Dwayne and I got him trapped, then we just go ahead and start with all the foolery.
It's ping, ping, ping. I'm going to be dodging. Little dodgeball game here today.
So today, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to be discussing some of the key insights that we've gathered over the years from all this work. Insights that can help any man, regardless of his background, to cultivate a healthier, a more fulfilling sense of masculinity and overall happiness. And whether you're a young man just starting to navigate adulthood, like our good friend Logan in the comments section, or you're further along in your journey and looking to refine your approach to life, I believe what you'll do is you're going to find value in our discussion today, because these 21 insights are designed to kind of help you become the best version of yourself, to find true happiness and contentment in all aspects of your life. So let's begin. Let's begin the exploration of these life lessons. I hope you're ready to gain some new perspectives and perhaps challenge some old beliefs. And remember, the path to your personal growth, it often starts with a single step, and that step might just be one of the insights that we discuss today. The first one that I want to discuss, that's going to be a life lesson for men that we must learn. And you will learn this lesson. I just want you to learn it sooner than when you're an old man. And that first lesson is that no one will get out of this life alive.
Yeah.
The first thing that we should acknowledge is that life is finite. We only have so many days allotted to us. And one day we're going to wake up. We're going to wake up in the morning and begin our very last day on earth. It's going to happen. Everybody that you know, there's going to be a day, and it's already happened to many of you, where that was the last conversation or the last time you've ever seen that person. A lot of us listening to this have already suffered the loss of someone that we care about, and we never knew that our last conversation was that time. Every person that we know on this planet, we will have a final conversation, a final time that we see them. Acknowledging that life is temporary is a wise way to approach life, because it's going to help you live each day a little more fulfilling, and it's going to help you guys focus on what matters most. Let me help kind of put it into perspective for some of you guys. According to a recent data from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the average life expectancy for American men is about 76.1 years.
Yep.
So,
and going down.
Yeah, and it's going down. And this is going to be the generation that's coming out. They are the powers that be, the people who foresee this stuff, is claiming that this generation is going to be the first generation to ever not live longer than the generation prior to them.
Yeah, it used to be 78 years old up until the pandemic in 2020. Now, since then, we've increased our diseases, and life expectancy has decreased. So the average man, a little over 76 years old. So that's unreal. Within the last 4 years, it's already dropping.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so here's what this means, guys. If you're 30 years old, that means that you've only got 46.1 years left. If you're 40-year-old, you've only got 36.1 years left.
All right.
If you're like these two guys, and you're 50, you've got 26.1 years left. And if you're 60 years old, you got 16 years left, roughly.
And that's still the last breath. That, Jimmy, you're not even talking about like actual mobility, that play span, because typically those 76 years old, the last 13 years, they're not living. They're really.
Yeah, very good point, Esteban. I mean, so if you look at these stats, right, and Dwayne's closer to 50 than he is anything else, he's got roughly 25, 26 years left, but Dwayne is from all the martial arts and the poor,
Stupid.
the poor and stupid, improper form that he does when he's trying to lift a engine out of a Mustang. It's slowly shortening his life via tearing away at vertebrae. But, Dwayne, has, suffered through some pain, and to Esteban's point, if you've got 26 years left, roughly, Dwayne, it does not necessarily mean that all 26 will be you springing out of bed every morning, right? That's kind of what Esteban's point is.
Yeah.
The last 20 years hasn't been that way. Hell, my brother, I lost him almost a year ago. He was 54.
That's tough.
I mean, that's only.
Has it been a year already?
So in November, it was, on that hunting trip. That's when I found out.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, that's right. Right in the middle of our hunting trip.
Yep. So, I mean, it happens. Never know.
So, guys, I mean, I know that we're not telling you guys anything that you don't already know, that you haven't already thought about, but make sure you put it in the front of your mind, because, every day that goes by that you are not living life to the fullest, and believe me, I'm just as at fault of this as any of you. We don't want life to pass us by and then realize that we really never got started living, right? So just kind of keep it in your mind that, you're not going to live forever. There's going to be bad things that happen, that disease and injuries could happen, and just do the best you can to try to live life to its fullest. Number 2, life lesson that I want everyone to understand is that life is unpredictable. But a plan is a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
And what that means is that no one can predict the future, right? Their own future, anyone else's future, events, experiences, we can't foresee. They will come our way with some frequency, but a well-ordered plan can at least help navigate the unknown waters ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Think of a plan as a preferred future. It's not a guarantee of a certain outcome, but a plan can remove many of the obstacles to our own desired future. Like, for instance, carrying an umbrella will not prevent a storm from happening, but it can minimize the consequences of the storm. So make a plan and expect to revise it from time to time, because it's going to need revision.
I like that. What comes to mind when you say revision is seasons. At 50 years old, the season I'm at in my life is different than when I was between 20 and 30 years old. So it's like, okay, what's my plan in my 20s, plan in my 30s? Mm-hmm. Now it is something completely different. So I love that Confucius little carrying an umbrella saying. That was cool.
Flexibility is the key to having a successful plan. While having a roadmap is crucial, being adaptable allows you to seize unexpected opportunities and navigate unforeseen challenges. Think of your plan as a compass rather than a rigid set of instructions. It should guide your general direction while allowing you to adjust your course as needed. Remember, the most resilient trees are those that can bend with the wind without breaking. Similarly, the most effective plans are those that can evolve with changing circumstances while still keeping you oriented towards your goals.
Yeah. That's another flashback to 2020.
That's right.
You had to be flexible to adapt.
Yeah, you got to change things around. And I know you guys will be talking about some of these things will be health, your relationships, of course, finances is all part of that. And you have a plan. I mean, we just lost Richard Simmons last week. This guy worked out every single day of his life, but he's still an expiration. He may have lasted longer had he did all that time working out. But, you just do the best that you can. We're talking about urinals now. Are we back talking about urinals? I'm good. But, oh, wow. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Richard Simmons, he, did everything, we'll say, right. I'm sure he lived a healthy lifestyle, ate well, did all those things, but, he still had an expiration date. Now, he did make it, I think, to 74, 75, 76. So he was right in that average range there.
Within that range, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can do things, your plan, to eat healthy, to, have good relationships, to have your finances in order, to have your mind right and all that. That can give you that compass that you guys were talking about, going in that direction. But little things are going to happen along the way. I mean, you may have medical stuff that you knew nothing about that you could have an angry ex-girlfriend. you just never. I mean, but you want to remove all the obstacles and all the bad things, so you have the highest chance of success.
Yep.
Get out there as long as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. The third thing that I want to talk to everyone about is friendships. And what I mean by that is great friendships will enhance your quality of life.
100%.
Oh yeah.
We will meet many people during our lifetimes. Some will just be temporary fellow travelers on the journey. Others will want to join us for the entire journey.
Yeah.
But deep and lasting friendships they don't just happen by chance. They require focus and energy and patience and skill to perform and maintain. But they are absolutely worth the effort, because good friends will enhance your journey through life in more ways that you can imagine.
Well, you guys been buddies for over 20 years. We were talking about that earlier. I mean, you guys.
Yeah. And, Esteban and I, we never, had a lot of beers together or, got together because he lives on a different part of the country and whatever. But, Esteban, I've always kind of stayed, I've always watched what he was doing and, always had a lot of respect for him. And, his podcast and my podcast has kind of brought us back to, I guess a little closer.
A little closer.
And we've bounced ideas off of each other the last couple of weeks, and I've reached out to him for advice a couple of times, and I haven't given Esteban some thanks, but the advice that you had given me the other day about that interview really worked, and I appreciate it. And so the point of me talking about friendships is that if you have friends that you can count on, each of those friends are going to have a different area of expertise. Dwayne has expertise that I don't, and Esteban has expertise that I don't, and I have expertise that those guys don't. And, they're having friends, you're able to kind of plug them in whenever you need them. And moreover, they're there when you need them.
That's
true friends. True friends.
I don't want people going through life and not, having any friends. And when you look at the stats, especially the younger generation in their 20s, they're reporting fewer close friends than any other generation in the history of humanity.
Yeah, we're more connected, but less friends, less people. Actually, like this week, my heterosexual life mate that I've known for 25 years is coming into town. It's a James Silent Bob reference.
Don't you cheat on me.
Movies.
Don't you?
I'm going to full
cheat
disclosure. But yeah, he's coming into town for a business thing, and we're going to hang out and bringing the wife and kiddos over and stuff, and we're going to hang out and have fun. It's just, and that was, I give him credit for it. When I was going through my lowest, he was there picking me up almost on the daily. Like when it was just getting too crazy through my first divorce and all that, he was my sounding board. And having true friends you can count on,
legit lifesavers. So I want to share two things with this one, Jimmy. Is So I'd read with one of Dr. Ben Hardy's books. He was sharing that connection is actually on the flip side, the opposite of addiction. I'm like, and then it got me realizing father's a hoarder. He lives all by himself. And then when we don't have that social connection, we're looking for connection elsewhere. So that's where addiction comes in: pornography, video gaming, drugs, alcohol.
Oops.
And when people have that social interaction, that minimizes it. They did a study with the men that were in Vietnam, the soldiers in Vietnam that were hooked on heroin. When they came back, I forget the actual number, but it was something like less than 20% of them were addicted. 80% of them got off, which were not the stats that they noticed in the United States when somebody was addicted to the drugs. And it's because they were able to have that social connection again.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I realize is that it's like connection keeps us sane. in that aspect, because we're gonna bend a knee and we're gonna connect someplace. So if it's not gonna be with a human, it's gonna be with a tangible object. It's like, oh no, you can't throw that away. That's so precious to me. It's because you don't have fucking relationships with people.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
Second thing that I've noticed with friendships, sets of standards. And we live down to our standards, up to the standards, whatever we want to say with that. And one of the things that I shared here before was I had mentorship on how to be a shitty husband. Awesome. So now when I'm close to men, I'm looking for men to honor and cherish their wives openly and publicly and privately. Where before the guys would talk shit about their wives, and I'm like, well, that's just how you are. Well, that's going to create a relationship where your wife doesn't want to be with you. So finances the same, physical body the same. My learning that I've had is when you identify a way that you choose to live the life, surround yourself with individuals that are going to support you on maintaining the standard of like, dude, you're a badass. Let's go. You know, it's, if not, I'm going to slack. I'm going to screw it up, but with you guys on my back, I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold me accountable. So I love this one for the 21 tips. Like, for me, it's a crucial lifeline for me not to go to the same fuck ups that I had 8 years ago. And they were doozies.
And when it comes to friends, guys, you don't have to invest in a lot. Just invest in a few.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need a lot of friends. To Dwayne's point, it's about quality. And, you know, this is certainly one of those cases in life where quality is much more important than quantity. You know, good friends challenge us to grow. They support us when we stumble. They celebrate our victories as if it was their own victories.
Yeah, it's powerful.
And in a world of constant change, these relationships, they become anchors. It grounds us in authenticity and shared history. Just like, you know, people in Nam, they're grounded together with that shared history. Remember, the friends that you choose will help shape the person you become.
Powerful. Yeah.
You have to choose wisely. You know, Mike Keller had put, hey, vet your friends, because sometimes friends can be enemies. And he's right.
Yeah.
You've got to choose wisely, for in their company, you'll write the most meaningful chapters of your life story. So hopefully you guys are out there and you're trying to connect, because there are people listening to this podcast who don't have any close friends. And it's a shame, because we, even as men being less social, we still need healthy connections and relationships.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, that brings us to number 4. And number 4 is healthy relationships make life richer.
Love that.
As for romantic interest, it's okay to acknowledge that not all relationships will last, but it is wise to try to make them as healthy and as free from conflict as possible. When you're in a relationship, you're going to spend a lot of time with your partner. How much time you enjoy in that time together will depend a great deal on your attitude, your expectations, and your actions. And just like friendships, they're going to require work to maintain. Every relationship I've ever had requires work to maintain, and they are a team effort. So you must be willing to contribute an equal amount to your partner. Eventually, you might find a life partner. And even when you do, don't neglect to keep putting in the effort. And every time you hear Esteban talk, one of the things that rings true for him is that there specifically, he's found himself a life partner, but he's putting the work in every day, and he's not neglecting to put in that work. He openly and honestly and authentically comes out and says, look, you know, I'm going to be cherishing my wife, and I'm not even going to, he doesn't want to surround himself with guys who talk ill about their wives, because he understands that those kinds of people and that kind of information going into his mind will eventually become his actions down the road.
Yep.
And so he's doing the best he can to create a healthy environment that's going to honor his wife. And in return, it's going to make his life much easier, because he has a great, you know, relationship with her. Also understand this, because I'm sure some of the guys out there are saying, well, hold on, Jim, I tried and she didn't try. And I can't, do this for the both of us. And for those of you who think that way, you are correct. If you give 100% to your relationships, you're giving 100% of the 50 to your relationship. You can't do it all, right? She can't give up and you do enough to sustain the relationship for the both of you. And you can't give up and she's not going to be able to sustain the relationship. You both are going to have to try. Now, it does not mean, though, that it has to be 50-50 at all times. And that's where I think people get it wrong. Let's be honest. There's going to be times you're going to come home from work and you're not going to have 50%. I should say you're 50%, right? So, you're irritable, you're on edge, you had a bad day. And, once two people understand each other enough, then they can kind of read the room and she can tell, you know what, Dave is just not, he's in a bad mood. Something bad happened at work. I'm going to have to pick up the extra, right? So I heard someone on a podcast say one time, it was a man and a woman, a husband and a wife. And she had said, well, there's some time my husband comes home and he goes, you know what, hon, I only got 30%. And what that means is that he's drained. And so she goes, don't worry, I got the other 70.
Yep.
And there's going to be days that you're going to have to, navigate those fluctuations. And there's going to be days where she doesn't have 100%. She's only got 60 and you got to pull up the other 40. So understand that it's not always going to be a 50-50 straight down the line, but good relationships, you guys understand that you're there, that first of all, that not everyone's perfect at every single day, but also you're there to help kind of boost up when that other person's slacking a little bit.
Yeah, it's a show up as an awesome husband for you. Just irrelevant of who's on the other side. You're always amazing. You're always the best version of yourself. And I can 100% attest to that, Jimmy. It's with my wife now, when I have awful days, she's genuinely that wind beneath my wings. I was in a slump this morning and she carries me. As they say, when you see a strong man, you always know that there's a strong woman behind him. No ifs, ands, or buts. If she's having a junky day, I'm there for her. I'm always showing up 100% version as what's my best version for her now. That's my intention. My intention is to do that. And does it always show up that way? No, we're human, 100% human. Like you're saying, we all have flaws, and our intention is we're going to be the best version for each other. Hands down.
And to that point, it brings us to number 5. And number 5 is expect to have setbacks. Everyone has setbacks from time to time. Everyone. And some of the setbacks are just downright annoying. Others are downright debilitating, but they will come. Setbacks will come. That much is certain.
Those suck.
The best approach is to expect them, though. Acknowledge them, work through them, move past them. Some setbacks have long-lasting consequences, but they need not derail you or cause you despair. Whether you like them or despise them is not the issue. What matters is that you learn to move forward in spite of them. Few setbacks block progress entirely. They may require a detour. Embrace the detour. You may even discover some unexpected blessings while you're dealing with these setbacks. Embracing setbacks is an opportunity for growth. And I know that some of you guys don't want to hear that because you're so sick of the setbacks and you just want some peace every once in a while. And I get it. But
both
it's
spellings.
True. Huh?
Both spellings, P-I-E-C-E and P-E-A-C-E.
Yeah, you want a peace and you want some peace. Correct.
There you go.
but each obstacle you face, it really is a chance to develop resilience, creativity, problem solving, those kinds of skills. By reframing setbacks as challenges to overcome rather than insurmountable barriers, you will transform them into stepping stones on your path to success instead of roadblocks to them. It's not all about avoiding setbacks either. It's about how you respond to them that defines your character and shapes your future. And some of the most successful individuals aren't those who have never faced adversity, but those who have learned to thrive in spite of the adversity.
I would say all successful individuals have
I agree.
fall into that. You know, and as I hear you say that, talking about this, if you're a man that hasn't heard this before, you're like, these setbacks suck. However, hearing somebody like you, Jimmy, state it, it gives me permission to actually live through it. And it's like, oh, there is another side. Oh, there is lights at the end of this tunnel. So I appreciate you sharing this one on the aspect that it gives us as men permission to be like, okay, I'm not alone. And there is another side to this. You know, tying this to number 20 when we get to it, like you were saying, it's what are we learning in the process? That's huge. Because when I can talk for me, when I was in my setbacks, and there's seasons where they come and go, and some seasons are way longer than others. You're like, holy cow, this really sucks. It's what am I learning in the moment? And I heard this from a gentleman before, and I completely took it. If you're working out and the muscle's burning, and it's like, that's a setback. What comes on the other side?
Growth, strength.
Yeah, that resilience, strength, that knowledge, experience, all of it. So it's like, oh, there could be, if I look for it and I receive it, an upside to this. But if I don't hear that from you, oh, my life sucks.
Well, then let me give everyone the permission that they need then. I promise everyone, and I rarely say all, I rarely say absolutes. I try to not, at least. This, my friends, this is an absolute. Every single one of you that are listening and watching right now has faced setbacks. There isn't one of you listening right now. And I challenge you, put it in the comment section. Tell me if you have never had a setback. Go ahead and raise your hand and put it in the comment section. There's not going to be a single soul. Every one of
breathing, you will have a setback.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I tell you, pick anything that is valuable in life. It took a lot of hard work to get it and a lot of setbacks in order to achieve it. Whether you're looking to be an MMA fighter like Esteban has done, whether you're looking to obtain your black belt like Dwayne was doing, whether you're looking to do your career, save for retirement, build a family. Look, you're going to have your setbacks, but take some of the advice that the three of us are giving you, because you need to make sure that you have your goals set, but don't think that just because you laid down that map, that your vehicle, you in this instance, is going to go from point A to point B without there being some detour, because you would be foolish to think so. You're going to have setbacks.
Well, it doesn't make sense, though, because over the last 20 or so years, everyone gets a participation award. We're all winners. We're all super people, and we do no wrong. We can identify as a whatever, and it's okay. And no matter what I do, that flies in the face of what we've seen over the several decades now.
Yeah, fair point. And that this will be number 22. How about that?
Oh, okay.
This one is number 22.
Okay.
But that falls in the category of, just because it sounds good in theory doesn't mean it's going to work in practice. Because that participation trophy world, look, how's it working for us?
That's a good one. How's that working for you?
How's it working? Because all I see is a bunch of kids growing up that are softer than soft can be. They're like gelatin. They safe spaces. When we were in school, did we have safe spaces?
That's like that in martial arts.
That doesn't keep you safe. Like that. The thought that, oh, I'm in a safe space. It's not freaking tag. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Unreal.
It's crazy. The harsh reality of life is that if you want something, you're going to have to go after it. You're going to have to compete, and you're going to have to put effort in, and you're going to have to suffer, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's just like working out, right? Think about exercising. You go to the gym and you have this plan, you have this goal, you have this vision of how you want to be in the future. And then you go and you put in a bunch of work, and when you're done working out, you get nothing tangible in return. You work out for an hour, you step on the scale, you're the same weight. You don't get to go to the gym, step on the scale, and be a pound lighter. As a matter of fact, there's no guarantees you're going to be a pound lighter at all. You've got to put in at least 4 weeks of work before you remotely start to see any results in the mirror a lot of times. For me, I just know it's around week 5. Week 5 is when I start seeing results visually in the mirror, but I've got to put in over a month of work. And I'm talking 4-5 days a week. I'm talking 5, 6, 7 meals of healthy food that I don't want to eat daily for me to start seeing progress in the future. And what you're doing when you're exercising, and I'm referring to anaerobic exercise, not aerobic with the cardio, but anaerobic with the weights, is you literally are tearing muscle fibers microscopically, and your body builds them back bigger and stronger than the time before to adapt to the excess workload that you give it. You've got to be broken down to be built back up. Isn't that a great metaphor in life? Isn't that just how most of our lives have been? So my point, guys, is just like working out. How well are you going to be in your fitness if you just quit because your muscles are sore the next day? We wouldn't do that. Well, don't do it in life. Okay. Don't give up when it starts to hurt. You keep pushing through. That's what men do. Number 6, and this is one that we all need to make sure that we don't falter on, because life is going to throw enough curveballs your way, even when things are going okay. You don't need number 6 to add to it. Number 6 is life is better when lived within your means. Okay. You don't need to be materialistic to recognize the important place of money in your life. You don't have to have a focused outlook on give me cars and houses to understand how important money is. It is nearly absolutely needed for any kind of quality of life at all. We all need some of it, referring to money, and we all need to manage whatever amount we have, whether you have a lot, whether you have a little. You got to manage it. In fact, the less you have, I can make an argument, the less money you have, the more important effective management becomes. As soon as you have some income, you'll want to set up a budget that reflects both your income as well as your anticipated expenses. It takes months to adjust a budget so it will work for you. But once you do have it in place, once it's all kind of figured out, make sure you stick to it. Okay. There's going to be things, and marketing has they do a really good job making you think that you need some things that you don't really need. You got to stick to the budget you have. A budget has the same relationship to money.
I'm kind of confused by when you talk about budgets and stuff. What do you mean? Like, live within my means?
Is this woke, Dwayne?
No, I'm confused. You mean I just can't spend every penny I've ever owned, will own, or I just can't.
That's the one will own. I'm going to spend right now what I might make over the next 3 years. No, how's that going to work?
Yeah,
Jimmy, I do believe in this. I love that.
But I'm a boss bitch, and I know what I'm doing. I can get whatever I want. I just cry. I just cry, and somebody else will take care of me and stuff because I'm just a princess.
Yeah, that is someone's retirement plan. That some ladies have that retirement plan,
and if it works for them, good for them. But that's not going to be too many people ever. I'm a fan of creating the stretch goals. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stretch to get this house, this car, this vacation, donate this much to the church, and you don't get to that when you're constantly broke. So, and I've seen millionaires that are constantly broke, and then people that make $20,000 a year constantly broke. So yeah.
So that works for men. I'm just kind of wondering what women do in order to get to that thing there.
Hawk Tui, I don't know.
Okay. I didn't
That's the Hawk Tui OnlyFans graphic right there.
This is another solution, right? Okay.
Right. $20 is $20.
Okay. All right. Just checking. All right.
So, a budget
add up.
A budget has the same relationship to money as a schedule has to time. A schedule doesn't create time. It helps you manage time. A budget doesn't help you create money. It helps you manage the money you have. Remember, the key to financial peace is not about how much you make. It's about how well you manage what you do make. And true wealth is not measured by the size of your bank account, but by the richness in your life. So let your budget be a tool that not only brings order to your finances, but also frees you to pursue the passions and live a life full of purpose and joy.
That's powerful.
And if you're always struggling because you overspend, if you're always stretched to the next paycheck, if you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, then you're never going to ever fully be able to relax and enjoy the life the way that you deserve to do it. So you got to make sure that you're putting a budget into place and you're living within your means. Number 7.
Well, I figured out a way. I mean, you all know that, I first married, I basically had all my finances ripped away, and then I'm slowly trying to, but I found a new way that I might be able to pull this off in order to, get my retirement taken care of. I don't know. I just want to know, what do y'all think? I mean, can you?
Yeah.
If you were in California, it's going to work out perfect.
That would work out great for you, because then you would be, just trying to put yourself through school, and you're a good boy, and
there we go.
Victimless crime and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Good to go. Yeah. It depends on the state you're in. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dave Ramsey. I've been a good steward with my money. I grew up dirt poor, and I fought for everything that I had. And of course, had the courts take it away, as everyone that's on this show will know all about. And then I'm trying to, because again, I'm 52, I'm trying to have some amount of retirement. Everyone is sick of me talking about not eating Alpo when I'm 75. I don't know if y'all have heard, actually, this will impact both of you. By the year 2035, they're going to do a 21% reduction in Social Security, if it's still available, for everyone across the board. So it's one of those kind of get ready. But,
don't
that's
rely on the government to take care of you ever.
I wish that they would just allow me to opt out of that and just let me take my own money and invest it the way that I want to invest it.
Oh yeah, you'd be a multimillionaire now had you pulled your money out that you would have contributed and put into 5%. I mean, the numbers are all there. You would be a multimillionaire by the time you retire. But yeah, one of those things. But yeah, it's you've got, people have to plan. I mean, men, because the women, let's just forget about them. Men, you have to plan for the future. I know Esteban's like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to say now, these comments are all my comments of 52 years on this planet and seeing a bunch of crap. Don't send Esteban. I'm sure he's a sweet guy and would never say the things.
Bitter party of one. Bitter party of one. Your table's ready.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, men, you have to plan for retirement. You have to plan for all these on things. Because I'm going to tell you right now, women don't do that.
Yeah.
We can sit here all night and talk about it.
They really don't. Yeah.
And that's, and I'm sure that goes back to your, being around people that talk highly of women. I give them the what they deserve using history, data, and all that. So if they don't like it, tough cookies.
I thought of a good retirement plan for myself, me personally. And that is, people who like to challenge me to a one-on-one game of basketball. We've got 5'8" Ashley in the comment section. Oh, okay. But I've got to play on my knees. Oh, okay. I see.
If you're on your knees, you're about 5'8", 5'9". That's
right. That's right. So that's where he gets it from. No. We're going to play. And then Todd, just shoot from the outside. Don't come in my house, Todd. Don't come into my house.
He's going to be doing a little Caitlin Clark there.
No, I'm not hurt. I'm not injured. I'm not. But let's talk about number 7. Let's move on down the line. So number 7 is that core values should be known and core values should be honored. Core values should be known and honored. And let me talk about what that means. Life gets complicated at times. It comes down to wise decisions that are constant with what you consider is right and what you consider is true. And because decisions often carry emotional baggage, it helps immensely if you know in advance what is important to you. What values do you hold the most firmly and the most deeply? And once you figured out what's important to you, you'll be better equipped to make choices when confronted by them. As they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I think it was Gandhi that said that happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are all in harmony. So you have to align your actions with core values that not only bring peace of mind, but also fosters integrity and self-respect. And remember, the strength of your character, guys, is reflected in the consistency between your beliefs and your actions. Know that. Guys will grade and judge each other on our consistent behavior. If you say one thing and you do another thing, you're not respected in the eyes of men. And we all know that. So make sure that you have your beliefs in place and then stay true to them like an arrow.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not telling
Dwayne knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like not telling the truth to people, that's a big one for me. I'm one of those tell the truth always.
Yeah, Dwayne always tells the truth, apparently. So number 8. Number 8 is a good one too. Number 8 is when life is better when you invest in your health. And how many times have we talked about this, right? How many times has Esteban talked about, we're not going to talk about Dwayne, as Dwayne double fist a Mountain Dew and a vape at the same time.
Oh, good. I only have my electrolytes and my water here.
Yeah, and I've got like a
hydrogen infused, by the way. But.
Okay.
So unlike your car, which you can trade in or ditch when it becomes reliable, you're stuck in your body. You can't trade in your body. You can't trade it in for a replacement. So you must figure out how to maintain the body you have, because it's going to serve you your entire lifetime. And someday we may be able to I don't know, pick up a new body part like we do with the water pumps or brake pads. I don't know, but that day has not arrived.
Not today.
No,
So learn what makes for good health habits and then practice those habits every day.
Yeah, I mean, again, a few months ago, I was in for heart surgery. They did the old snake up into my heart to check all that out. I was scared. And again, my brother passed away about a year ago from a heart attack. So you got to take care of yourself. I mean, I'm not a good example of that, but, stop eating McDonald's, do at least some things. Check out your medical history, get checked out, at least try to live a little, but, do try to, take care of yourself.
How many times have we witnessed or at least heard of very wealthy people, very influential people pass away too darn early because of their health? And there are people right now in a hospital that wishes that they could trade places with you.
Oh yeah.
Through all the shit that you guys are going through, and some of you guys are going through a lot of shit. There are people in a hospital right now that would do anything on this planet to trade places with you because their health is failing them and they are seeing their end come quick. Remember, the best wealth you can have is good health. It is the foundation in which everything in life is built upon. Taking care of your body is an act of self-love and an act in respect. And it's never too late to start. Embrace the journey of health with the same exact passion and dedication that you would invest in your lifelong dream, because in the end, it's going to be the greatest investment that you can possibly make.
That's it. I want to jump on that one. A lot of times I hear people say sacrifice. Oh, you got to sacrifice this. So I'm going to say no. I want to keep that word that you just used, investment. When you invest into yourself, that's the best ROI ever. That's it. Like,
I put numbers.
There is no better ROI than investing into your body.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, this year alone, I've spent about $10,000 out of pocket on medical expenses. I'm only 52. So, I mean, poor life choices, poor, whatever history, you're going to spend that money trying to keep yourself going, and it gets expensive. Had I had I lived a different lifestyle, maybe I wouldn't have had those issues. Who knows?
I'll show you guys something.
70 pounds overweight.
Shoot, I tore it. All right. Well, no big deal. I'll print another one. Your physique is a physical manifestation of your mind. You can't buy a physique. You can't make anyone do the work for you. You can't shortcut the process. The effort you put in, the sacrifices you make, they're all there, sculpted in muscle. It's a testament to your discipline. Every rep, every sweat drop echoes your mental strength. So get up and go, gym. That is what's posted literally behind my monitor right now. So when I'm sitting at my computer, I see that every single day, because there are days that I don't feel like working out either. And I look at that and I go, it's time to get up and go to the gym.
I have something similar. I won't pull mine down.
I have these right here.
Oh, yeah. Mine says never trust a fart.
We've learned that one the hard way. That's truth. That's wisdom right there.
Yeah, that is wisdom.
Yeah, write that down. Over 40, never trust a fart.
So number nine is one that some people struggle with, and that is actions determine outcomes. Number 9, actions determine outcomes. Believe it or not, some people see little connection between their actions and results. Crazy, but some people do. But with few exceptions, the correlation is absolutely direct and it's absolutely unmistakable. The sooner that you understand the intimate relationship between your thoughts, your choices, and your actions and their consequences, the better off you're going to be. When you're thinking about doing something, it's a good idea to ask what the likely results will be if you actually do it, or what they will be if you choose not to do it.
Yeah.
If you plant corn, expect corn to come up. If you plant wheat, expect wheat to come up. If you plant nothing, expect nothing to come up.
Yeah.
Your life is just like a garden. What you cultivate is what you will flourish. Make sure to nurture what you truly desire. Guys, don't forget to also like, share, and subscribe to the page. Dwayne and I have new Facebook social medias, so please make sure that you're supporting the page by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. Be sure to hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that way you are notified when the big show with Jimmy Smith and Dwayne Ward goes live. How about number 10? Number 10 is a pretty good one. Number 10 is unhealthy relationships make for an unhealthy life. I don't have to tell a lot of guys watching that one.
Yeah.
Unhealthy relationships will make for an unhealthy life. Okay. What do I say about this one?
Yeah, where do we start? I mean,
where do we start? Look, life is hard. Life is hard enough when you have several encouraging, supportive, and helpful people in your life. How much more difficult is it when you allow toxic people to join you on your journey?
Oh God!
Toxins are poisonous, and
you don't need that many. You could be around 100 people, and if there's one pain in the ass toxic individual, that's where all the energy goes.
They will sap your energy. They will discourage you. They will generate anger within you. They will frustrate you, and they will do it in a myriad of ways. They'll make your life more difficult. You have to avoid them if you can. If it's impossible to avoid them, then figure out how to mitigate their destructive potential at least.
Yeah.
Remember, you can't control the actions of others, but you can always control how you respond to them. Surround yourself with those who lift you higher and watch your life transform, because your journey is precious. You deserve to walk in it with those who bring out the best in you.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11 is self-discipline is a valuable quality. It's been said that courage is the queen of the character qualities because all others flow from it. And I would say that a close second is the characteristics of self-discipline, because without self-discipline, your life is going to be a struggle from beginning to end. With self-discipline, you can achieve many of the things that your heart desires. Self-discipline, guys, let me give you the definition. In my opinion, this is what self-discipline is. Self-discipline is choosing to do what you don't want to do in order to get what you do want as a result.
What you really want.
So figure out what you want, which is exactly why the three of us had mentioned that a couple back. You've got to figure out where you want. You've got to put the end in mind. Don't just stumble through life, guys.
Isn't like self-discipline? I'm trying to think of relationally too. It's like you see that hot chick and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna either step out or I'm gonna go. She's just something a little weird about her. Something might happen, then bam, you got cracks,
Right.
and you're just on the nose of all places.
You get crabs, or even worse, the clap. You don't want any of those, because look how ridiculous Dwayne looks. Do you guys want to look like Dwayne right now?
Yeah,
you're walking around with crabs on your face.
Yeah.
Of all places.
It's disgusting.
It's that discipline. It builds the muscle of delayed gratification. And it's always those derailing temptations. That's like, oh, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for this. No, discipline allows you to overpass that delayed gratification so that you create what you really want. So discipline's huge.
That's like in your teens, 20s, 30s. Stay away from women. And this may just be my thing, but stay away from women. Be on your, well, hell, Jim, you've talked about this a million times. Stay on your focus, your purpose, grind it out, get your stuff done. And then amazingly at 40 or so, they all come out of the woodwork and, I knew you were a nerd in high school, but la, la, la. I'm
like, how old was I? I got married to my wife. We're going to be 5 years. So yeah, it took me a while. However, how I'm coaching my son now, different story.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to make the same mistake that I did.
If you lack self-discipline, you're always going to be mourning what you could have had or what you could have been. And that's sad.
Yeah. And if it looks like this, stay away. Just stay away.
That is truth. That's
just
take that one to the bank.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. But number 12. Number 12 is one that we've got to learn. We've got to learn this one. A lot of us have to learn this one. Number 12 is that you always have a choice.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean by that. One of the common traps that we fall into is the mistaken belief that we have no choice when we actually do. And it may not be the choice that we want. It may not be the choice that we even prefer, but nonetheless, it's a choice. And we waste so much time and energy bemoaning the choices that we don't have. It would be so much better if we simply just exercise the choices that we do have. What's the next best step that you can take? Good. Take that step. And if that step turns out to not be so great, no worries. Simply take the next step after that. There's always a next best step that you can take, guys. Always. In every moment of decision, remember that your power is in the action that you choose. Embrace each choice as an opportunity to shape your path. And trust that each step forward, no matter how uncertain, will lead you closer to who you are meant to be. So
the choice isn't just physical too. You mentioned it multiple times today, is our interpretation. I get to choose the interpretation that I create.
Yeah. Number 13 is one that is I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that.
Oh God.
And that is, an emergency fund will help you sleep better at night.
You don't realize how important that is until you don't have an emergency fund and you can't sleep at night.
Amen. Gosh, guys, how many of you have lost sleep because you don't know how you're going to make it happen for the next month? The bills just never stop, dude. I mean, gosh, it's the 21st of the month, and next week it's time for us all to pay up again.
And Murphy's always at the door. Murphy's Law, always at the door. I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy. Highly recommend everyone going there, getting yourself a emergency fund, $1,000. Some people say $2,000 now, but having that, you sleep a little bit better, and getting on the financial goes, especially getting on that and not letting anyone, and I do mean anyone, get in your way on your financial goals.
You've probably noticed that life is unpredictable.
Very.
You just never know what's lurking around the bend. In fact, it's almost impossible to predict the future. Why even bother trying? Instead, just make provision for the future. And one way that you can do this, guys, is to help establish that emergency fund. Begin by trying to save a percentage of every paycheck, and then try to set it back aside for that emergency fund. Start off small and then increase the percentage over time. Aim for 1 month's expenses in a safe place, then aim for 2 months, and eventually work up to having 6 months of reserves. It'll help get you through if you lose a job, if you get sick, if you're unable to work for some other reason.
Spouse does something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? What?
An emergency fund will not only prepare you financially for the unknown, but it'll help you sleep better at night. The best possible way to predict the future is to create the future by taking proactive steps like building a fund. You're actively shaping a more secure and manageable future for yourself. So I know it's easier than said than done for some people, and the lesson, at least you guys understand, you guys believe that life is going to be so much easier if you have that emergency fund. Okay, what we are, number 14. Number 14 is fear should be motivated or motivating, not paralyzing.
Oh yeah.
Fear is fear kind of like failure. It's not your enemy. Fear is simply a warning system telling you to take action. Okay. Think about the psychological aspect of fear. There are 3 ways that you can respond when it comes to fear: fight, flight, or freeze. Engage the battle, escape the battle, or stand firm. And if the matter, this is my advice, if the matter can be handled, you engage or you fight. If the matter is beyond your capability, you flee. If the matter is best handled by neither fighting or fleeing, well, then you maintain your current position. Each of these responses has a place. If you feel, like, for instance, if you fear like an upcoming job interview, it's a call to prepare. Yep. If a hurricane is heading your way, it's a call to head the other way. If you're crossing the street and a car is speeding through the sidewalk, it's a call to freeze right where you are until it passes. So the fear aspect, you have to make the best decision. Learn to see fear as a warning system. Fear is your body's way of telling you that an action is required, but you've got to figure out what the best action is and then take it.
Yep, that's stepping into courage. Step into courage, and in spite of fear, make that choice, which is one of the numbers earlier, and take action, which was not. Look at this; they're all lining up, Jimmy.
Well, see, I was going with the whole when we were talking before about how we have participation awards and everyone's a winner and all that stuff. It's kind of, with these mommies that are letting their kids get away with everything, and there's no responsibility, there's no consequences. I can go on for hours. Trust me, I've done it. And then they've never had that fear while growing up, respect, saving money. There's all these different pieces in there. And then they get out into the real world. Their parents are gone. It's just them. And then boom, something happens. They freeze because they've never experienced it before. Yep. They haven't learned to fight. They haven't learned how to do, those different things. And we've got, these mommy dearests that are raising all these kids now for the last 40 years, 82% of the time. So when I say this, I say it with a little tongue in cheek. This is the data that we have to work with, and we see the outcome of it. We have a bunch of children that are adults now that have zero coping skills. They can't do anything because daddy, who was the one that used to do those things, that used to teach you, has been removed from the equation.
Yep, they go from freak out of 1 to 10, from a 1 all the way to a 10.
Yeah, I mean, not getting into a very specific item, but a situation happened, the world was kind of ending, and I would ask the question, all right, what's your next step? All I get is cry. That's when I talk to people that aren't prepared for the real world and a calamity happens, Murphy comes a knocking at your door, and you go, all right, what are you going to do about this? All I do is the waterworks. They just cry and cry and cry like that pays a bill. That I get pissed off about it because I see it happening in so many people nowadays. Our younger generation especially is screwed because moms have raised them to be wusses. They can't handle
from that toddler response. So
they've been stuck at 3 years old where I poop my diaper and I get a new one because there's no consequences. Although that's probably a bad example, but they've never experienced any trouble because they've been coddled their entire life. So when that first fear hits them at 23 years old or 25 or 30 or whatever, they just sit there and all they can do is cry.
Yeah,
Pisses me off.
And that's why a lot of them struggle when they get out in the workforce.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because
Did you know 20% of kids, or I'm sorry, millennials, had their mommy and daddy with them at a job interview? They did a study on this. Are you?
Isn't that crazy?
That's like, what the? Yeah.
I never heard that one.
This
Yet. Like, no, you're not being hired.
Yeah.
I'm not hiring your parent, and I'm not hiring you right now either.
I've never, you know, when we were hiring back in the day, and even when I even hire now, I've never personally had anyone bring their parent to an interview. Have you ever had that before, Esteban? I never have. But, you know, Dwayne and I pulled up a stat a couple podcasts ago, and we always check the sources. Almost 20% of kids are trying to bring their parents to a job interview to help them get the job.
No, it's kids. If you're listening, that's a quick way to never get the job.
Oh my goodness, a very quick way.
I remember doing a couple of interviews, and the people wouldn't be dressed in excellence. It's like, tell you what, this is an interview. Go home. I'm going to give you another opportunity. You come back dressed in excellence. You got one more chance.
So this is Gen Zers who asked their parents to help them find a job. Okay.
Wow.
So you got about 7% always do it. About 17% very often does it. Over 30% sometimes ask their parents for a job. Yeah, that's a lot. And it was more common for mothers to help their children than fathers, as 76% of Gen Zers who asked for help report getting help from their mothers in comparison to 45% getting help from their fathers.
But I hate women. Boys to be men. Go figure it out. You're gonna suck at first, and then eventually you're gonna get better at it. Go.
Exactly.
So we got our good friend Jeremy B coming through with a super chat here. Woo! Jeremy, we appreciate you. A $25.89. There's a reason for the 89 cents, Esteban. It's not because he didn't have the extra 11 pennies. Good call, Jimmy. 6 months of savings is great recommendation. Mom always told me a 12-month of savings, 6 months minimum, saved my home and my assets when I was unemployed during my divorce. And Jeremy went through a really nasty divorce. So you know that helped. And Jeremy, when he went through that divorce, I'm not going to get into his personal business, but Jeremy was unemployed for longer than he expected. And so that savings account that he's referring to really came through for him to help him not have too many sleepless nights. So
So with Jeremy saying that, it makes me think of so many people that are here that are not happy where they're working, but they feel like they've got the handcuffs because they're like, man, I can't afford to find some other place or not to work here anymore. So if you've got that 6 months, 12 months, say you can sleep and actually go find where you'd love to work versus where you feel like you have to.
Yeah. Todd says, the point is even if a judge orders you to life in prison, you've got choices. He's referring to making an action. If you could choose to act like a fool right there, everything changes. Very good point. Very good point. So number 15, we're almost done. Number 15 is it's best to say what you mean and mean what you say. And I tell you, when it comes to men, because this applies to both men and women, but speaking to the men right now, men are big on honor. And for the majority of history, we did things with a handshake and a smile.
Yep.
You know, it's only the last, let's call it 100 years that we really feel like there's no way other than putting it on ink and paper.
What also happened about 100 years ago? I think there was an amendment passed. Trying to think what something about voting.
I'm not touching that one. I know where he's going with this one.
Oh yeah.
I think that was 50, 60 years ago, actually, not 100 years ago.
Yeah, say 60, 100, whatever it takes. So there was, the C's were then. But okay.
Are we talking about Amendment 19?
Well, Amendment 19, really?
Is it the 19th one?
It is the 19th one, yes. Yeah, the one that gave suffrage rights. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on with Esteban on this one. I ain't touching that one. So
direct all hate mail to me. I would more
send it all to him, okay? Because I don't want to read that hate mail. So yeah, it's best to say what you mean. It's best to mean what you say. And look, establish early in your life, guys, that you are the person that is a man of his word. That what you say is what you mean, and what you mean is what you say. And the first is about clarity, and the second really is about reliability. People don't make people figure out what you mean. Just say what you mean clearly, okay? The twin sister to speaking clearly is speaking reliably. You want to have the reputation of being reliable. That's the key here. That you can be counted on to do what you will say that you do. And that when you don't do something you said you would do, that everyone's just going to assume that you're dead because this guy always does what he says he's going to do. As you navigate your journey, remember this: integrity is the foundation upon which trust is built. When your words align with your actions, you create a life of authenticity and honor. The greatest inspiration comes from those who live life with an unwavering truthfulness, proving that real strength lies within the simplicity of being true to oneself. Be that beacon of integrity and reliability, guys. Be that beacon. And you'll not only earn the respect of others, but also the deep satisfaction of knowing you've lived a life of genuine purpose. And in a world, I'll just say this, in a world where honor and reliability and trustworthiness becomes fleeting and less prevalent, if you're that guy, you'll stand head and shoulders above everyone else. If you're the guy who can always be counted on at work, I mean, gosh, I have younger kids tell me, Jim, how do you move up the ranks? You want to know how do you move the ranks? It's so much easier in today's world than it was back whenever the three of us were trying to make it happen in our 20s. All you got to do is show up for work hard, and do what you say and say what you're going to do, because everyone else is just doing their own damn thing. I actually hired 3 people this week, and all 3 people didn't even show up for day number 1. All 3. I can't even get people to actually show up to the job that they after going through a phone interview, a face-to-face interview, filling out your I-9, doing a background check, all the gamut.
I wonder if they had their dad in their life, because that was one of the things my dad taught me is like, mean what you say what you mean. And, it's funny. In my personal life, there are people that talk about me will say, when you meet Dwayne, you get him. He, if he says, I'm going to do this, he's like, you're going to get me every single time. I don't say one thing and do another. I'm just a rootin' tootin' straight shooter.
That was good. I was wondering how he was going to tie it in. That was good. That was
he tied that in nicely. Tied that in nicely.
And I'm this dorky in real life, so just so we're on the page.
Yeah, authentic Dwayne each time.
Every time, yeah. There were people that said that when you meet him, if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
Yeah, and he's a lot.
Yeah, and I say things that people don't like, and I'm like, but that's where the earlier on the thing, the values, that's who I am. And I would say for the young men out there, the old men, the whatever, get that, write it down, figure it out, and live it.
Yeah.
You'll be a lot happier.
Number 16 is the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And here's what that means.
Yeah, what the hell's that?
That's a Stephen Covey thing.
Okay.
So I love the words and the thoughts of the late Stephen Covey. He used to say that too many people get caught up in the thick of thin things. Yeah. If you guys ever get a chance to read his books, they're just fantastic.
7 Habits is one of his popular ones. Yeah.
And he even does the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families as well. A lot of great books. And I believe the guy was right in so many things. You will avoid this trap if you just learn to keep the main thing the main thing. Don't forget your purpose. That's really what it means. Don't forget your aim. Don't forget what you're trying to do, trying to accomplish in the very first place. Keep the most important things right out front where you can see them. Give those things the important focus, your time, your deepest devotion. Remember, I think it was Maya Angelou, I think is what her name is. She said, pursue the things that you love doing and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. And, look at, Esteban, for instance, right? There's no denying that the guy does fitness. And he does it so well that people are watching, people are hiring him. He's been doing it for decades. You got Dwayne. Everyone knows that he's a guy that knows just about anything you can do when it comes to computers and gay porn. He knows gay porn and computers very, very well. So I mean, the guy can code, and what we're talking about is just these guys exude, basically finding a craft and doing it so damn well that everyone knows what they do. Is that Dwayne and Jeremy B's love child one again? That's
Vlad the Impaler.
Vladimir.
Vlad the Impaler. I've lost my purpose.
Number 17 is changing what isn't working can make all the difference. Okay. So you'd be amazed at how often people continue to do the same damn thing over and over and over, day after day, year after year, when it's clear as a bell that it's not working. They will press ahead anyhow, doing the same thing in the same way and experience the same results every single time. It is amazing and so frustrating for coaches like myself and Esteban to see people do that. They either don't realize or they forget that if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
Only every time.
Every single time. Look, if the new thing gives you the same results that you don't want, then you guessed it. Try something different. You'll eventually come up with something that works. And if that doesn't work, then try something different.
It's real simple. What's working? What's not working? What's not working, stop it. What is working, double down.
You guys know what the definition, according to Albert Einstein, is of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, yet people do it every day. If you're tired of doing the same thing and getting the same results, I got advice for you.
Stop it.
Try doing something different.
I did that with relationship for a long time. So I've switched it up now.
Change it up. Explore. Think outside the box. Take a chance. Remember, every great breakthrough begins with a leap of faith.
I mean, I do that with my health. I mean, I actually flipping the script. Usually you guys are talking about all the health stuff, and I'm the one talking finances and nerd and all that stuff. But I mean, remember me like a year or two ago, this is what I look like.
Yeah, that was Dwayne a year ago.
That was me a year ago. And then, over time, I lost some weight. Yeah, lost 60, 70 pounds by doing something different, trying to, not eat as much. And I would say work out, but not there yet. But yeah, I mean, quit doing the same thing. If you're hating your life, try something different.
Yeah. Good. Each attempt that you make is going to be a step closer to discovering what does work, and embrace the journey. Your perseverance and your willingness to innovate, it's going to eventually lead you to the success that you want. So keep experimenting, keep evolving, and trust that in every effort that you make, it'll bring you closer to the breakthrough that you're hoping to make. But you got to take action, and the action is you got to switch things up. You got to do something. You got to move. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect that you're going to finally get the results you want. It just does not work that way. Number 18 out of 21. Number 18 is saying no tactfully and clearly will keep you out of predicaments. As a man, one of the traits that I teach when I do masculinity coaching is to learn how to say no, because there's so many people out there, especially my younger guys, that are desperate for being a part of the crowd. They're desperate to be liked. They're just desperate for people's approval. We live in this social media society now where if you don't have people who love you, adore you, if you don't have 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 followers, then that must mean that you're not liked. In my day, we didn't give a shit. We didn't care how many people liked us. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I get a whole lot of hate for doing this podcast, a whole lot. It's okay. It's fine. Every once in a while, Dwayne and I will get a nice little troll. One of our favorite trolls is Ernie Fitzgerald, and we even came up with a little Jeremy B.
Yeah.
Jeremy B. This one's for you. Michael Keller, this is for you. Where's our? He says that Dwayne and I give angry, toxic advice, Esteban. Our advice is angry, toxic, and advice. So whenever Dwayne and I give advice, we always start with this:
angry, toxic advice.
So saying, look, you will find that as you journey through life, there are people out there who think that they know what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to attempt to control you, to manipulate you, and influence you towards their agenda. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Okay. If you have already taken the lessons that the three of us have given you for the first 17, then you already have found out what your purpose is, what your morals are, and you are putting them and you're keeping them out front. You'll need to learn to say no to people. Know that you can say no clearly and tactfully at the same time. And sometimes you might even want to give a reason for your decision, but you don't owe anyone a reason. You really don't. Just simply say, no, I'm not going to be able to make it. I've got other plans. And look, your plans could be to sit at home, watch a movie by yourself, and eat your favorite ice cream. Okay, that could be your plan. No problem. Just remember, you want to live your life, not someone else's life. Because I promise you, if you live your life for someone else, you're going to be doing everything to make them happy at the expense of your happiness.
Well, you were talking about like, the kids nowadays and, when we didn't, okay. I want to get real here for just a second. What was the biggest issue that transcends for guys, thousands of years here, our generation, younger generation, it was vagina. We would see it and go, I mean, let's be real. What can we do?
Wars have been started for that.
Exactly.
Yes.
What can we do as men to teach the younger generation and the current generation, even the ones that still haven't learned that mistake? I mean, staying on your purpose. I mean, that's what I always say, is stay on your purpose. But again, when you're 14, 15, 16 on up, while you're still, you could be getting, in the electric chair and at the execution of a girl, you'll be like, hey, what's up, babe?
Yeah.
What can guys do? What are some practical tips that guys can do to stay on their purpose and not get caught in the slant or the clam slam?
Well, I will mimic the words of the great Rich Massa. Okay. Don't let the power of the P control you, guys. Okay. How many people out there? How many of us have made?
Thank you, Coach Rich, on that one.
Yeah. Esteban knows Coach Rich. How many people out there, including myself, we've made stupid decisions over the power of the P? You can't let that happen. And the how, to Dwayne's question, is that you must have some sort of meaning in life that goes beyond chasing tail your entire life.
Keep the main thing the main thing. See, it's all tying together.
Make the main thing the main thing.
But you see a pair of boobies and you're just like, I mean,
there's some truth to it. I mean, I've seen a lot of pairs, and I still want to see all the rest of them. It's weird. I don't know why we're pre-wired like that, but I promise you this: you've got to stay true to what your focus is, guys. If your focus is a business that you're starting, if your focus is to be the best husband you can be, if your focus is to love the Lord, or a combination of all that, then you've got to be disciplined. And for those of you that are religious, okay, I'm not pushing religion down on you, but let's just say for those of you who believe that there's a God, then that must mean that you believe that there's a devil. Think of it this way, okay? If you're married and you're faced with another woman who's throwing the ill nana at you, and you really want to hit, okay, just think of it this way. Think of the devil purposely putting her in your space to manipulate and control you, to make sure that you don't live a happy, long marriage And by you divorcing, the devil knows that he's going to create distance between you and your kids. If you think of it that way, then it's easier for you to go, I'm not allowing anyone to manipulate me.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I mean, how
clam slam.
clam slam. That sounds like a good Denny's menu item or something. We got the $5 clam slam at Denny's.
I bet you can get the $5 clam slam right outside Denny's.
And then you're gonna get where are we at here? Where is that at? If you're lucky, you're gonna get the
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
You're gonna get the old crab grab.
Yeah.
So if you go for the
I'm a
clam
believer
slam,
of that one, Jimmy. It's the demonic influence to shift you off from being your best self. And when you look back, when we're like, okay, when did the fathers begin to be out of the house? And you look at the decay that we've got in, I'll just call this country alone.
Dwayne.
I mean, that was it. That was it. It's been one decade after another. And it's like, if the father was home and the father had influence over the kids generation to generation, we wouldn't be in the shit we are now. So Jimmy, I'm 100% for that. And I share that, when I'm coaching my nutrition, it's Jesus taught his disciples the Father's prayers, lead me not into temptation. Why? Because we're weak in temptation. There's no willpower that overcomes temptation. The first temptation was the apple, food. Mm-hmm. So it's like, no, just lead me away from that. I don't need no Denny's clam stamp for that. Yeah, no. So yes, I am one of those when he says, for those of you men, that's me. Thank you.
Number 19. Number 19 is procrastination will not serve you.
No.
Procrastination will not serve you. There are many reasons people procrastinate. I'm not talking about a purposeful delay. I'm talking about doing later what is better done now, right? I'm talking about making sure that you are moving your life forward and you're not putting off the hard things because you're procrastinating.
Right.
If you've determined that something should be done, do it. If you determine that
urgently
it shouldn't be done, then procrastination is not the issue here. The goal is to stop putting off for later what should be done now. It's not good for you. It just makes your tasks harder. It hinders your progress. And sometimes it can be your complete undoing. Remember that taking action now is a powerful statement to yourself, and that the world that you are in control of, your destiny, relies on progress. Every step you take today, no matter how small, is progress. So by choosing to act now, you build momentum. You foster discipline and you set the foundation for success. So please, guys, don't let procrastination be the barrier between you and your potential.
Yep, take action now. And perfectionism is the twin of procrastination. So be cautious with that.
Number 20. Number 20 is failure is your teacher. It's not your enemy. Okay? If I was to ask you guys, what have you learned more from, your successes or your failures? I think many of you, if you were honest with yourself, would say from my failures.
Always.
Failure, guys, is inevitable. Big failures and small ones. We all have them. But failure is not a problem unless we fail to acknowledge them and then learn from them. Failure is a valuable teacher. But you have to be willing, and you have to be a willful student. Because when you fail, ask yourself, is there some way that I could have prevented the failure? Then do it differently the next time you have to do it. It's been said that the only thing more painful than learning from experience is not learning from experience.
Yeah.
So every failure, see it as a stepping stone, because every misstep is a chance to refine your path and build resilience. Remember, the greatest growth often comes from the toughest challenges. And perseverance in the face of setbacks is what forges true success. Okay. Can you guys think of times where you guys have failed at something? and it ended up being one of the best things that has ever, been a life lesson.
We talked about my marriage multiple times.
Yeah, I mean,
Had I not sucked as bad as I did before, it wouldn't have made me hungry to do that. And I was a cage fighter. Same thing. It's like, okay, what am I learning right now? What am I learning? And I'll close with Ashley had mentioned earlier. He was talking about 409, the spray. I didn't know this. 408 failures. And then he got to the 409th, and that's where the name came up. So I'm glad he had shared that.
That's right.
I mean, not talking about, I guess, my own failure, but I think of, would Crew have beat Helltrack had he just given up? And I hope to God this joke lands. You guys have never watched Rad?
No.
Rad. Oh, from the 80s?
Oh, my. Yes.
So, yeah, I barely knew English then. So I get to go watch it back now.
Okay.
Remember, I was playing the guitar at that point, seeing if you wanted to get
true.
guacamole.
Yeah, I was trying to do some like waxing some old, school. If Crew had given up, would he had, succeeded in Helltrack? If Rocky, had just, suffered defeat and not practiced, we have taken out Drago and the great Rocky IV. I mean, that's another thing too, is our heroes are they're dying off, but they're not the same as they are now. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm sorry, the joke just failed. If you have not seen Rad, I feel sorry for you.
It's a classic.
It is a classic movie.
I'm pulling it up now.
Yes, yeah. There's places to watch it and things like that. But Rad, Crew is the main character. Our young, the girl from Full House was on it. Can't remember her name.
This is BMX bikes.
BMX, yeah. Oh yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, this is classic 80s.
Hey, that's when we were all riding our bikes.
Exactly.
No Uber, no cell phone. Where's everybody at? Where all the bikes are at?
Exactly.
You're riding on the handlebars. You're riding on the pegs. You're jumping over each other. Somebody breaks their arm, but you know what? That was a passage that you earned something because everybody got to write their names on your cast.
That's right.
I mean, that's the thing that our younger generation doesn't have is they did not have like these great iconic movies. I'll share it real quick because we're getting people asking about it in the thing here. Share screen. It's funny. I actually play the main song on the movie, their title right there.
Yeah, there's Mongoose.
That's true. Yeah,
Mongoose.
This is why Gen X is the best generation ever. I feel sorry for anyone that came after us because they did not.
6.7 stars out of 10. That's not good.
Yeah, that's
because it was probably young viewers, not our age.
Yeah, they don't wait, what are these people doing? I mean, they had the entire small town. I mean, it was a big deal. Crew overcame adversity. He's a small town kid gonna beat the whatever it is. It is just iconic. I
think he's watched this once or twice, maybe.
Dude, I mean,
the song from Helltrack, when I ride my motorcycle, I'm blaring it on my speaker as I'm riding.
Did they have anybody riding in the bike with the speakers on the shoulder with the
there's a scene with the boom box, the whole that I mean, in ways I do feel sorry for the younger generation because they missed out on all that. I mean, yeah, you and your buddies would get on your bikes, you'd be gone for the entire day. You didn't have this helicopter crap going on.
Parents have no clue where you were.
None.
Dark. That's when I live out on the farm now. I have chickens, all the animals, the horse, the chickens, whatever. They go in when the sun goes down. That's how we were when we were kids. It's like, all right, sun's going down, time to go home.
Yeah. I mean, the kids today don't have that. They're so. I mean, when you were talking earlier about having friends and all that. I mean, yeah, people. We're more connected through the internet now, but we're actually so far removed from each other because we have to have that continual whatever.
We're gonna put it removed. Yeah.
That's why, I mean, kids today don't have those lifelong friends. I mean, there's probably guys that you knew as a kid that you're still friends with more than likely or shortly thereafter. The life lessons, having dad there, sound like for me, I mean, he was there imparting knowledge. I mean, a lot, that was, again, the 70s and 80s was the beginning of the removal of the father en masse from the family.
We were each other's influence, good, bad, and different. Yes, drinking from somebody's hose. We didn't even know whose house it was.
It didn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter. I mean, yeah, it's fun times, and I feel bad for the younger generation because they didn't have that. They don't have it. They're sitting there. I mean, I didn't have my cars did not have seatbelts. My dad would do this. That was our seatbelt. I mean, I didn't have
Windows that you had to
special.
crank to roll down.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I'm rebuilding the Mustang, and my youngest, I'm trying to teach him about cars, and he's like, "What is this thing? And what is that?" And I'm like,
When they
in
say
the old
roll down the
days,
window, that's where roll down the window came from.
it's cranking the window, and he's like, why is that triangle? And I'm like, well, you
That's
pop
air
that thing
conditioning.
open, and you could pop your cigarette ash out the window if you're so I know I took us off track, but if you get a chance, watch Rad. You will feel inspired in all these. You could sum up all these things in the movie Rad.
All 21
Well,
will be right there.
Yeah,
I hope all you guys appreciate the trip down memory lane, and I hope that all these steps today that the three of us came up with really kind of help put life into perspective a little bit. Because I promise you, if you follow them, your life will be so much better. Now, I did promise you 21, and we've done 20, so I'm going to do 21 on my final thoughts. Before I go to final thoughts, Esteban and Dwayne, you guys have anything you want to add?
My final thought is be connected. It's Dwayne was just talking about it right now, and it's so crucial. Just identify that tribe that you want to be part of. That's going to raise your standards and be connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's just like a kind of all those rolled into a few things. I mean, be the person that you want to be, or be, it's like an Army commercial, but be that friend to someone, for the friend that you want to be. I mean, you give and take, and try to find a few friends that you can have lifelong, friendship with, and mean what you say what you mean. Always, and again, I know the world doesn't like this, but always be honorable, truth telling in everything you do and say. I mean, I'm a dying breed. We're flipping away pretty quick. People will screw over in a heartbeat. Be that standout in the crowd. Quit chasing tail. Get on your purpose. Find the things that you like to do. I mean, I have a room dedicated to my nerdness, and actually a couple rooms, and do what makes you happy, and just keep moving forward, and don't let anybody take it away from you, because you got an end date. It's coming too.
Yeah, it is.
Wise words. Appreciate it, guys. Let's go to final thoughts. So number 21 on final thoughts is this last lesson, and that is, this too shall pass. On your journey, there will be times when your life is not what you hoped it would be. You lose a job you loved, a relationship ends, you suffer a major health issue. Life seems more of a bore than it does a blessing. This is normal and common among all people everywhere. One thing that can help you during such times is to realize that it's only temporary. Tell yourself that all things end and this too shall pass. Literally say this to yourself. It'll be okay, just not today. Say that. Think of it as a long detour on a road that you're traveling. Look, it seems like the detour will never end, but eventually it ends. You'll get back on the main road again. You'll get back on your journey. Don't focus too much on your circumstances. Don't spend too much time thinking about how good things used to be. Learn to accept what you can't change. Guys, remember, the storm that seems endless today is clearing the way for brighter days ahead. The greatest strength is not just enduring the storm, but learning to dance in the rain. I want to thank everyone for joining in for today's episode. On behalf of my co-hosts, Dwayne Ward and Esteban Lutz, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Keep pushing to be the very best version of yourself that you can be. We'll see you guys here on Dad Talk Today next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Until then, have a great week. Make the very best of it, and we'll see you guys soon.